So for gold camo on certain weapons, you need to complete the get 15 kills from behind challenge, and today I'll show you how to complete this easily and quickly in Modern Warfare 2. Now if you want help with any specific parts of the camo grind, check out my Modern Warfare 2 camo guides playlist via the card on screen or link in the description. If there's any struggles or anything you want a guide on, leave a comment, I'll try to make one. Feel free to use timestamps in the description, and leave a like if you find this video useful so that other people can find the video too. Without further ado though, let's get into the video. So certain weapons in Modern Warfare 2 will need this challenge completed, but not all of them. So for example, the M4 and the Kastov 762, the two assault rifles, both need this challenge. I'm sure other weapons do as well, but it obviously varies from weapon to weapon. So like I said, this challenge says get 15 kills from behind with, and then whatever the weapon is, like the M4 or something like that. And I imagine that quite a lot of people are struggling with this challenge, but basically all it means is that the player has to be facing away from you and you need to be shooting them in the back, which can sound quite frustrating, and sometimes it can be difficult to kind of get that to actually line up in practice. But we'll go through a class setup, the maps and modes, and some tips to help you do it easily and quickly, so don't worry about it too much. So first of all, for the attachments, as an example, I've been using the Kastov 762 assault rifle, and these are the example attachments I put on. So first of all, we've got the Kastovia DX90 suppressor for the muzzle, the Kastovia 343 barrel, the FSS Sharkfin 90 underbarrel, the 40 round mags, and finally the Ivabiv ST70 grip for the rear grip. I think one of the most important parts of the attachment list is the suppressor. So obviously this will keep you more silenced with your weapon, more hidden, so that enemies are less likely to find you and you're more able to be stealthy, because you really need to be stealthy to kind of get this challenge done. What perks would I recommend? Well, first of all, I'd say putting on double time so you can run towards enemies more quickly if you need to, and second of all, I'd put on tracker just so you can see enemy footsteps, see where their footprint trail's going, and therefore wherever they're running you can run up behind them and hopefully get some kills. So that's a very, very useful perk, really can't recommend it enough. We've then gone for cold-blooded in tier 2, just so you kind of stay off the radar, don't set off people's high alert perk, that kind of thing. And then in tier 3 you can either go for ghost or overclock. Ghost so you can kind of stay off the UAV and so on and be more hidden, or overclock so you can earn your field upgrade faster. For the field upgrade though, we've gone for dead silence, so once you've got that unlocked, definitely would recommend putting that on. Obviously your footsteps are more quiet, so you're able to kind of sneak up to enemies more easily. Then you can either put on a flash or a stun grenade or a shock stick for the equipment, the tactical specifically, just so that you can kind of get behind them if you need to, but I wouldn't really bother about it too much unless you're struggling, but it's always nice to have. And then finally we've gone for the kill streaks. We've got the UAV, counter UAV, and advanced UAV. Obviously you can put on other stuff, but if you put on lethal kill streaks, that's going to take away from the potential kills you can get with your weapon, so you want to try and keep it for that. Let's now talk about which kind of maps and modes would be best. So for the modes themselves, it really kind of is up to you and what you prefer, but I would say there's either two streams of thinking. First of all, you can go for sort of the more objective based modes, so like domination, hardpoint, and ground war, and this kind of involves hanging around an objective, maybe hiding behind something, or just kind of waiting enemies to come up to you, then you go up behind them and shoot them while they're trying to go for the objective, because they're kind of hyper focused on the objective and nothing else. So that can be a good way to do it. Alternatively, you can go on free for all or TDM or kill confirmed or something like that, and this is just sort of a normal kill based mode where you can kind of just go around and kill people by kind of going up behind them. So those are kind of the two streams of thinking, and we'll talk about some tips in a minute on how to actually kind of maximize your chances of getting those kills from behind. But very quickly, which kind of maps would I recommend? First of all, I'd say the absolute best map in the game I found so far is actually Al Bagra Fortress. I'm sure there's other good maps too, but this is the best one. The reason for it we'll explain in just a minute, but just some of the features of the map are very, very good. So Al Bagra Fortress, definitely. Other maps that can be good, like Farm 18, Mercado Las Almas, those kinds of maps. But I'm sure if you guys find any of the good ones, feel free to leave them in the comment section, because I'm sure there'll be others. Now let's talk about the especially important part of the video, the actual tips. So like I said, there's several things you can do. First of all, you can try and wait for enemies to show up at an objective point, like I say, so that's sort of the Dom hardpoint mode, and you can kind of sneak up behind them when they're doing that. Alternatively, you can sneak up behind enemies that are just kind of running about the map, especially if you've got the tracker perk on, and especially when enemies are doing things like running upstairs or looking out of windows for enemies, just things that are involved looking forward. So like you wouldn't expect someone to walk up the stairs and randomly start turning around again. Like they might do if there's someone behind you, but it's unlikely. They're going to keep going with the walking up the stairs. That's why it's quite useful. Similarly, looking out a window, they're going to be focused on shooting at enemies out the window, so therefore you can come up behind them because their attention won't be focused on what's behind them. Another thing you can do actually is kind of wait in corners or behind doors for enemies to walk past and shoot them if you're kind of struggling. Obviously people would probably frown upon that, but if you're really struggling, it's an easy way to do it. It's a bit boring, but you just got a way around, and eventually some people will come past. Now I said Al Bagra is a good map, and the reason for that is because it's got tons of doors or corners to hide behind. Especially they've got like big open wooden doors, and one will be open slightly one way, one the other. You can hide behind one of the doors and people will run straight past and you can shoot them. That's very, very easy. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Al Bagra has a lot of staircases, so lots of people running up them or down them, and again that's going to kind of push them to go one direction and they're not going to start turning around, so definitely make use of that. And the third thing is it's got tons of windows in it as well. realm, tons of little balconies and bays to look out of and so on. So lots of windows, lots of doors or corners, and lots of staircases means it's a very good map and lots of potential ways to get these kills from behind with the enemy. Because I think from playing one casual average match on Al Bagra, I easily got 9 of those kills from behind, and again that wasn't really being particularly pushy for them, they were just sort of going around trying to get kills. So I'm sure if I was focused a bit more I could have easily got them. I think in 1 to 2 games is very reasonable to get it done, so I wouldn't worry about the challenge too much. And then the final tip I'd just say is just try your best to flank round to the enemy spawns in order to get kills from behind. This will take a bit of time, so you've got to be a bit patient, a bit stealthy, but it is worth it, I promise you, and if you stick with it you'll get the challenge done. I hope you guys did find this useful. Like I say, if you did, leave a like so that other people can find the video too. If you need help with anything else like leveling up your weapon, because I know that can be a big ordeal, feel free to check out my Weapon XP guide. If you want help with other kind of camo challenges in Modern Warfare 2, I've got a dedicated playlist for that, and again you can visit that via the card on screen or the link in the description. And finally, if you like what you see, do send in suggestions if you guys want any videos covered on any specific topics. And finally, if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe by clicking the bell icon to turn on post notifications and stay up to date with all my latest Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone videos. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you found it useful, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.